All right, let's check it out. Hold on.
Here with our Hellblade 2 review, and yeah, I found the game extremely disappointing, and I'm going to get into that, but definitely between a rock and a hard place on this review. Not fun, I'll tell you what, because the Xbox community despises me. They think I hate the brand, and then we have PlayStation fans who despise me as well, because they think I love Xbox, and then also there's that kind of weird factor in the middle of I kind of made comparisons between Ninja Theory's potential and Naughty Dog, and they didn't like that much, and that's a take that's going to age like milk based on this review.
Let me just say real quick, I'm right there with Mr. Right Place. I didn't know that. I didn't know that he kind of talked about Ninja Theory's potential as like maybe they could, eventually reach the heights of Naughty Dog. I thought the same thing. I did. Like I'm almost wondering, like, I mean, even just not even a minute into this review, I'm really wondering already if like we share a similar expectation of like what he played it, he's going to tell me, but I'm hearing from people who are playing it where if we have like a similar expectation of what we thought Hellblade 2 was going to be. So, I mean, it's definitely a long shot for Ninja Theory to become like a Naughty Dog, but it would take time. It would take time, but it would take the resource and the backing from Microsoft. All right, come on, boss. I know it's your stream today, boss, but we must watch.
And yeah, I'd like to issue a retraction on that one because I was definitely dead wrong. Worse yet, the circumstances surrounding Hellblade 2 couldn't be worse for Ninja Theory. There was already a lot of anticipation for the game. Ninja Theory was acquired by Xbox in 2018 with what felt like a public statement to gamers that despite what had happened during the Xbox One generation, the company was here to stay and invest in smaller games as a part of their business moving forward. The feeling right now is that Xbox needs its biggest win yet in a time of great uncertainty surrounding both the company's direction and the lifespan of its 30-plus studios. At the same time, Xbox is under fire because of its lack of marketing for Hellblade 2 and what is their first major exclusive in 2024.
Wait, hold on. I want to see real quick.
Xbox is under fire because of its
dude, I love that. I love that there's a Colt. Of course there's a Colt Eastwood post, bro. Holy shit. Go the extra mile. That's funny. That's so funny to me. Sorry.
Its lack of marketing for Hellblade 2 and what is their first major exclusive in 2024 and a potential prestige product, something they've said behind the scenes they're looking for to rebuild some public confidence in the brand. Xbox did market this game a lot. You've possibly seen like every big moment of Hellblade 2. My Naughty Dog take may have been completely incorrect, but at least I can hang my head on the fact that I called this one from pretty far away as to why Hellblade 2 wasn't being marketed. It wasn't really, in my opinion, being sent out to die. There just wasn't much left to show, as I'll display in this review. Announced alongside the Xbox Series X in 2019, many expected Hellblade 2 sooner, and I think the game would have actually fared better in my experience if it were just that, maybe a launch title or something like that. It's a game that feels like it's been lapped by much of its competition, such as A Plague Tale Requiem, in every conceivable way. It's a game that could serve as a case study to show how perfectionism has seeped into AAA-style games and lets them spin their wheels for far too long with little meaningful progress made for the actual players of the game, merely just the technology. It's a game that perfectly shows how a larger team size doesn't grant you a better game. Ninja Theory was around like 20 some odd people when Hellblade 1 was made. They were 80 with Hellblade 2, and I think you can feel that in the visuals, but when you play the game, nope. It's a game that shows you how mere graphical fidelity can no longer...
What? Yo, I did not know that. I did not know that. They were about 20 people strong when they made the first game. And they had 80 people for Hellblade 2, and they basically made the same game. Just pretty... Holy shit. That's disturbing. I had no idea. I had no idea.
Carrying experience, and in my opinion, never could. Worse yet, I think Hellblade 1 is far better in almost every aspect. Its level design, pacing, storytelling, and even how it gets to the core of touching issues like psychosis, the series' primary theme it delves deep into. Hell, the combat could be argued as being better in the original, given you no longer have mechanics like dodge roll attacks, and that's saying something given Hellblade 2's combat isn't really having much going on there. If I were to define this as anything, to put it in a little bottle here, it's Xbox's The Order 1886 moment, but even then, it's kind of a stretch, which is why it's not in the title of the review. I really like games such as The Order 1886 and...
Yo, I just gotta say, dude, like, see, this is where I was thinking, like, yo, I think something's off in my mind. Because what he just said about the combat, I was thinking, like, this whole time, I didn't say it, because I'm just like, I'm probably just misremembering. I'm like, I feel like the combat in the first game looked different than this. But again, I was like, all right, well, I played it years ago. I'm probably just your brain does that sometimes. It scrambles things. But this just seems to confirm, like, he just straight up said they removed, like, an actual mechanic in the combat where you can't, like, roll dodge and roll attack anymore. And it's just like, wow. But I gotta say, putting that aside, I am shocked. And I mean that. Like, I'm not trying to be facetious about it. Like, I am shocked that he's saying straight up, at least in, again, it's his opinion, but after reading what I just read, and then he's saying that he thinks the first game was better in almost all regards. I don't even know how that happens, dude. When you, like, quadruple the size of your team, and you have the backing of Microsoft. And now he is comparing it to the Order 1886. I'm sorry, I'm just surprised, man. I am. This is so weird.
And Rise Son of Rome. Both served as showcases for their respective hardware and made no hesitation about flexing their technical might, yet they didn't leave the most important factor behind: fun. Both of these games, in my opinion, are very fun to play when they let you play. Rise's combat is a guilty pleasure, and its story is extremely entertaining, leading to me doing full playthroughs twice over when I first bought my Xbox One at launch. The Order's world and story take time, but when it picks up alongside its gameplay, I think it's excellent, and then it ends. It's that line there that you can closely draw between The Order and Hellblade 2. Hellblade 2 has its fleeting moments of excellence beyond its visuals, but they're quickly forgotten due to most of the experience consisting of walking forward, boring puzzles where there are far too many, might I add, an unreasonably limited amount of combat encounters.
Too many puzzles, bro. Everything this guy's saying is ensuring I'm never going to play this game. Too many puzzles now. And we got Big MP coming in here. He's like, oh, watching Hellblade? Hellblade review? He comes in, drops a 20 bomb on you guys. Big MP. Big MP. I swear, man, we were talking about him earlier, and he just shows up.
Holy shit.
Thank you so much for that, though, man. You just brought us up to where we at. I think we're at 45 members. 46 members on the day, thanks to Big MP as we're reacting to this. So thank you so much for that, man. I'm seeing 20 bombs flying in the chat here. So we are now, let me see. Oh, you can see everything here. Hold on, I'm going to update this. I can't add it manually because it's still cycling through them, so hold on. But Big MP, thank you for that, man. Definitely unexpected. Oh, God. We're at, what did I say, 46? Oh, my God. Dude, it's getting really fucking hot in this room. The legend returns. You never know. Dude, you never know when this guy's going to... He's trying to get me to take my hat off, isn't he? Or maybe he's worried. Maybe he's like, I heard people talking about MBG maybe taking his hat off. I got to make sure that doesn't happen. That's his mission, to make sure I don't take my hat off. He'll drop as many membership gifts as he needs to make that power move. But yeah, really appreciate that, man. You brought us up to 46 members on the day, so we are just 4 away from hitting a second goal. Thank you guys for all your support today. Before we continue reacting to this and watching, I really appreciate everybody who's been dropping super chats, dropping membership gifts. It's already been an incredibly successful stream, seriously, and it means a lot, man. I'm only able to do this because you make it possible for me. So thank you so much for that. I also want to say here before putting the review back on is I do also agree with what Mr. Matty Plays is saying here, where he's highlighting the Order 1886 and he highlights Rise Son of Rome. I played both of those games, by the way. I was just very late to the Order 1886, but I agree. Like, they both had a fun factor in the gameplay. Like, the Order 1886 had some great weaponry that was really unique and made the encounters fun. They were just too short-lived, and they're just, again, the game ends too abruptly. But Rise Son of Rome, shout out to that game as well. I think that that was a pretty fun game too. Wasn't perfect, but yeah, I had fun with that. How do you get a membership gift? Nick, click Big MP's gifts at the top. If you click the 20 membership gift, it should ask you if you want to opt in to being a member, or sorry, not being a member, to receive a membership gift. So, all right, let's continue on here.
Encounters and an ending that leaves you feeling like there was so much left on the cutting room floor here. I'm going to get into rich detail now, but that's the too long didn't read. Hellblade 2 is a game that certainly I was championing. I don't make Naughty Dog comparisons lightly, and they completely missed the mark in my opinion, and I far prefer Hellblade 1. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into the occasional day one review, consider subscribing. Let's start off with this story. I'm going to go very light on this section because we're talking about a game that has maybe a runtime of 5 hours. So Senna was traveling to kill the Northmen, who are abducting her people and enslaving them. She's quickly derailed from that plan in a tale that feels like it made very little sense until the story's dying moments. Instead of this being a story focused on just Senna alone, she's joined by a support cast that doesn't get much of an opportunity to shine outside of one who joins you at the journey's very beginning, and his development does add quite a lot to the story. Otherwise, the short runtime here hurts as these added characters don't have much time to develop. Meanwhile, Senna's journey is a depiction of how others interact with one who suffers from psychosis, and the game displaying how her darkness, as they put it, is a gift that can save her people. I think? I'm not entirely sure here. And not because I'm an idiot, it's because I think the game, compared to the original, does not convey its themes well enough throughout, again, this very short runtime. Remember in the first game, Senna was cast out because her psychosis is claimed to be a darkness handed down from her mother. That journey was about her overcoming that alongside the grief of losing the only one who ever loved her and trying to bring him back to life. In the sequel, Senna is still coping with death, but in a different way, as it's following her wherever she goes, and she starts to begin to blame herself for the death that surrounds her both past and present. In Hellblade 1, everything from its combat to even the puzzles was in service of an impactful story being told. You didn't just fight to break things up, you fought because it was a depiction of Senna's struggles at that moment. You didn't solve puzzles to extend the length of a game, at least most times. It was typically done in synchronization with Senna learning something about herself or the world. Hellblade 2 is the opposite in all regards, and perhaps that was the saddest part for me about this review. It feels like all that Ninja Theory did to make the first game special was completely forgotten for pretty graphics, beautiful lighting, and exceptional motion capture. I think it's wonderful because it definitely is going to be a technical showpiece, but as someone who loved the first Hellblade, I feel like we totally missed what made that game special. Now, for those who haven't played Hellblade before, one of its greatest strengths, and
We have Paul Gannell coming in, dropping, I think that's your second membership gift you're dropping today, Paul. Sorry for the audio fluctuation, by the way. I know I'm probably coming through much louder, so I'm sorry about that. But Paul, oh, look at that. Look at that. Paul dropped a membership gift, and Nick X, he was the one who just asked, how do I get a membership gift? Well, there you go. There you go. Thanks to Paul, you just got one. That's crazy. What are the chances of that, man? So 47 members on the day. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep this flowing. I want to see what else he has to say. Yeah, Nick X, you now have the ability to gift memberships as well, if you're interested in doing that, but just a reminder.
it is present in this game, is being unable to tell what's real and what's not. However, I think there was a thread that Ninja Theory kind of had their hand on that they would pull at times to really connect things and make sense of what was real and what wasn't, whether it be through how encounters were set up and what Senna was actually fighting. Was it her personal demons or actual enemies? Hellblade 2 does just that. This game is super seamless in its storytelling. There's no breaks for load screens, nothing like that. It just goes. And that's one of the best parts about the game is you'll just have these beautiful transitions between reality and maybe not reality, and then big cutscene and gameplay, and it's all, again, beautiful and seamless. It is definitely something that many AAA developers are going to study, but I think as a player of games, there isn't going to be a lot for people to take away here because, again, when you go down to the story, the main thing I loved about Hellblade 1, as I raved about in my original review, Hellblade 2, I think, just delivers things in such a messier way. And even when you start to come to understand what they're trying to do here by the game's final moments, it ends. Just like I mentioned with the Order 1886, you're like, okay, I'm on board here. If we get like another 2 more hours here, this is about to be sick. And then it ends. Now, some may say, well, that confusion, that's the point, Maddie. That's the whole idea of the game. You're not supposed to really know. You're supposed to be in Senna's shoes. You're supposed to really feel.
Just want to say real quick, Daxverse, thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate that donation to the channel. Yeah, I just want to say, based off of what I'm hearing from Mr. Matty Plays, it sounds similar to what I read earlier, where he's basically saying that, like, Ninja Theory is doing a good job, like, weaving the story and keeping it kind of flowing in an interesting way and in a relatively unique way. But he says pretty much the same thing that the article we read earlier said, where it's like, but in terms of it being a video game, not sure how much it's doing for me. And we have Stephen Leon coming in. Stephen Leon is keeping this membership train rolling today, gets us over the 50 mark, drops a 5 bomb. And just like that, we are sitting at 52 members gifted on the day. Thank you guys so much. Stephen, thank you for that, buddy. Really appreciate all the support you've been showing the channel lately, as well as everybody else. You guys are awesome. Let me update the goal, and we'll continue with this review. Well, actually, I'll
feel her pain, her confusion, and fair. At the same time, though, I think Hellblade 1 exists as a perfect example of doing that without totally losing the player. And oftentimes, I found Hellblade 2's story to feel quite aimless, which you just can't afford to have in such a short runtime, as I'm about to hammer home here in many other ways. I'll just say that I can't imagine many people are going to be thrilled to wait for a part 3 of Senua's Tale after 5+ years of waiting for Hellblade 2. Just to get to this point, play for a few hours and go, okay, I got to wait another X amount of years for more. It definitely leaves you feeling a little shortchanged. The game's visuals do aid its storytelling capabilities. I mean, it's basically a 5 to 6 hour movie, so it does the job well. The motion capture is absolutely excellent, as is the acting. The performances here are...
Hold on, I gotta read the super chat from Isaac Adrian, because I guess he feels as though he didn't properly express how much he doesn't want to play through Chapter 3. He says, I would rather try to bang myself than replay Chapter 3 again in Hellblade 2. Holy shit, bro. That's brutal. That's, like, I mean, I'm interpreting that a certain way, just so we're clear. Isaac, thank you for sharing that with me, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. We're just going to move right along. We're going to move right along, all right?
really good, in my opinion, and can heighten some of the biggest moments in the game. The voices, though, that Senua hears, speaking of psychosis earlier, in my opinion, are handled worse this time because they're basically like the yellow paint for storytelling. Rather than depicting Senua's uncertainty, the struggles that haunt her, most times they just point out the obvious during very important cutscenes, and oftentimes are speaking over characters already talking. But that's the point, Maddie. She's experiencing this, and you're feeling it through her shoes. I feel that there is a way to do it right, Hellblade 1, and a way to do it wrong, Hellblade 2. Beyond just having these voices speak over important parts of the story, which to many may be a compelling part of Hellblade 2 because it puts you in Senua's shoes further, for me, it was serving more as a distraction, but perhaps my biggest problem is what I stated earlier, which is the usage of the voices, in particular, pointing you toward various obvious things in the world. You know how all these AAA games have yellow paint all over the place and they just guide you throughout the world? Think of that for storytelling when it comes to the voices Senua hears in her head, which is in line with other AAA games where they're telling you where to go, where to climb, who to talk to, what you should do for your next objective. It, to me, misaligns what the original point of the voices in her head were, which was to guide Senua as a character.
That's pretty interesting to me that he's saying this because I did think that the voices in the head thing, you know, and trying to convey like what it sounds like to have like real psychosis like that was interesting. And man, that's crazy to me that he's basically saying it's like, yeah, they converted that to being like the yellow paint, but in your head, like a verbal yellow paint. I'm like, holy shit, that is disappointing. Like that is genuinely disappointing because it's like, I mean, and then you know, again, what I read earlier, somebody was saying, or I guess it was the Forbes article. They were like, to them, it just got annoying. Waleed is now a game cat. Specifically, White Tiger says this is what Xbox gamers don't understand. On PS5, we didn't just get 4 exclusives so far in 2024, but just in May, we got Madison VR and Exorcist VR 2, an Exorcist VR game. Why didn't I know about this? 2 massive titles. Yeah, dude, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, this is what I'm saying about Xbox. Like, what has changed, bro? Now I understand, like, truthfully, I understand exactly why Microsoft were like, we got to buy Activision Blizzard. Like, we need to buy Call of Duty. I understand now. They knew. They just realized, like, we're not going to do it. We just can't do it. Starfield isn't going to be enough. Hellblade 2 isn't going to be enough. Redfall certainly wasn't enough. And there's just these massive gaps of time between game releases, like too long. And they don't have anything to fill that. And even now, look, you know, Hellblade 2 is not, dude, I thought this game was going to like be like a game of the year contender at like a 90 on Metacritic or something, a 91. And I'm hearing some of the craziest shit I would have never expected to hear people are saying about this game. And, it's just disappointing, man. It's just disappointing because it's like you can see why Microsoft has just kind of given up. Because it just seems like no matter what they do, they're not figuring it out. They're not figuring it out. So far the most the most telling thing that Mr. Matty Plays has revealed to me halfway through this review so far is he keeps saying how much better the first Hellblade is in like every way. How is that possible? Like, I literally can't fathom how that is possible, considering this game was in development for over half a decade, with Microsoft's backing. Come here, boss. Boss, what'd you do with that string, bro? All right, let's keep it going here.
Right, to evolve her character, describe her thoughts, paint a picture of that. Instead here, they're used to, well, guide you to the next step. It's not all the time. Oftentimes her thoughts will develop her character. And it's in those moments that I feel the greatest pain because it's like, we're so close. You have those moments where you're right there, you get it. And then you go back to using it as yellow paint instead of actually enhancing and exposing different parts of Senua's character and the various thoughts she was having. Like someone would clearly be menacing and the voice would be like, oh, they're evil. They're clearly evil, clearly bad. I'm like, yeah, I can tell he's got his weapon drawn on me. It would just in those moments not add to it. Again, this is going to be something I think many people are going to have a problem with because you're not supposed to critique these types of things, but I just think when you look at Hellblade 1, they used it in a much smarter way. To my surprise, Hellblade 2 actually does have a new game plus option that can add a little extra time to your play clock if you're so inclined to double dip. I won't say what it is, but on a second replay, it may add some new wrinkles to the story. It's not enough to save your experience if you're in my shoes, but you may end up liking it a lot if you end up enjoying the main story of Hellblade 2. Ultimately, I think games like A Plague Tale Requiem are perfect examples of how this style of design from 2017 has been lapped multiple times, might I add, but I think A Plague Tale Requiem is the best example because that was my game of the year in 2022. It's a game that managed to have that cinematic movie feel. It put all the story at the forefront, no doubt about it. This relationship between Amicia and Hugo was literally all it was about. Much of the time in that game is spent walking around, talking, building that relationship. But that relationship never forces you to sacrifice meaningful gameplay, exploration, interaction with the characters in its world. This design was really left behind in the late 2010s, and I think Hellblade 2 is a perfect example of why. It's just been lapped by other games that looked at Hellblade 1 likely and evolved it. To wrap up the story segment before we move on to gameplay, I just want to say that Hellblade 2 does have a lot of great moments moments throughout. In particular, I think the second half is full of more good moments than bad. As someone who's covered Xbox for the last half a decade, Ninja Theory has always been clear that they wanted to deliver an audiovisual experience. And even if you were looking for answers like, how does gameplay move forward, you typically hear something about motion capture, lighting, performance tech, that sort of stuff. You'd never hear about combat, new moves, even the storytelling in a sense. You never really heard much about it. It was always about the audiovisual experience, which Hellblade 1 is famously known for. The problem I have, just to be extremely clear here before we move on from most of our storytelling critiques, is that Hellblade 1 didn't leave behind a ton of its fun factor and also managed to convey its themes and story in a much better manner. And that's why I may sound overly harsh with this game, because the reality is I went in expecting an audiovisual experience, and I did get just that, but I was not prepared for, quite frankly, how boring and disconnected this game would feel, and we'll talk about that now.
Dude, that boring and disconnected. Yeah, I poured a bunch of catnip on Boss. He was trying to remind me that we hit over 50 members and it was time for me to give him catnip. Boring and disconnected. That's brutal, man. That is brutal. No IP gaming. No.
With the gameplay. I don't know how else to put this, but what you're seeing is about the first 40 minutes of Hellblade 2. Yep. Just the analog stick forward, and that is no exaggeration. I know this because whenever I'm recording gameplay, I have my Elgato software up, there's a timer, and when I pressed my first set of buttons for combat in the game, I looked over and went, oh wow, 40 minutes, no breaks, 40 minutes. I was like, okay, wow, almost an hour of gameplay, and I just walked forward the whole time. And that wasn't the only time that would happen in Hellblade 2. The pacing is absolutely...
Oh my God. Okay, now I see what you guys are saying. Now I see why you guys referred me to this review. You were not kidding. You were not kidding. That is wild. Here's the first 40 minutes of gameplay. It's his thumb pressing up on the stick. That's almost... I gotta admit, that's like almost hard to believe. But he straight up showed the picture and he said, I captured it for my Elgato. Trust me, that's crazy, bro. Oh, man. If you ever take a picture in a review, you know it's serious. Yeah, for real, dude. I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for that. That's crazy. This is a really good review so far. I gotta say, Mr. Matty Plays is doing a great job. I don't usually watch many of his reviews. Well, to be honest, I don't watch many reviews in general, but it's pretty well done. Like, I feel like he's doing a very good job conveying to me like what he likes about the game, but also like, yeah, there's some serious problems here. You're saying Yang Ye was sucking the game's D in his review. Damn, bro. Yang Ye. Should we watch his review next? I don't know. I'm kind of interested to hear the duality. Like, what I'm hearing from the perspective of somebody who loved the first game and really, really did not like the second game at all. I'm like curious. Like, it's interesting because it's like the things that Mr. Matty Plays is pointing out here as negatives, like, to me are like, yeah, they seem like real negatives, like some pretty serious negatives. So that's why I'm kind of interested. Like, for anybody saying that this game is like a masterpiece or like incredible, like what about it? What about it? Is it just the story maybe? Like, if you like the story that much, like I love the story of Hellblade 2 so much that I kind of really don't care that I spent the first 40 minutes just pressing up. All right, let's continue.
Absolutely dreadful in Hellblade 2. And look, I am a massive JRPG fan. I don't want to hear from one person how I need to be more patient or more understanding. I love these movie types of games. I can totally get behind them, all right? And I have the patience to sit through 90, 100+ hour games. But when your game is barely crossing the 5-hour mark, you need to go. You need to go much faster than this. I'm not saying I need action constantly, because it's not even that. It's just compelling character interaction, more happening on screen. Most of this game is graphics flexing as you walk through pretty barren but extremely beautiful environments. There's no denying Hellblade 2 is the most beautiful game you can play right now in 2024. It is stunning how good this game looks. But that's also what most of the time in development was spent on, how good the game looks. And it's not because you're walking around and taking in the sights that the pacing is bad. It's because you oftentimes hit...
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at what he's saying or the review. I'm laughing my ass off because I'm just sitting here and Boss just walks up next to me and is just like looking up at... He's got like catnip all over his body. It's just very jarring. I wish you guys could see it. Sorry for constantly interrupting with nonsense.
Puzzles. This is the same gameplay formula you found in Hellblade 1. You would walk around a little bit, you'd hit a puzzle, you'd find some combat, rinse and repeat. How does Hellblade 1 do it better than Hellblade 2? I think things like level design went much further in Hellblade 1 to make it more interesting to explore these locales. Number 2, I think the puzzle segments were, in my experience and in my memory, extremely brief. I think 3, the combat sections and the storytelling sections were much more longer and stretched out, thus leaving a lot more impact. Whereas in Hellblade 2, you get puzzles like this bubble one, where you're kind of switching between realities and it's changing the world around you. You just focus on them. There are the same rune puzzles that you'll remember from Hellblade 1, where you have to like focus on these symbols and match them all up. And this culminates in one of the all-time worst chapters in a video game I've played, Chapter 3 in Hellblade 2, which is like the halfway point of the game, by the way. You are just running around with a torch lighting fires for like an hour, and that is it. It is, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it is like snoozer time gaming. Like, I was struggling to stay awake. I am not like that. Not at all. Like, I take my job very seriously here. I don't want to be disrespectful to developers. I want to do what's best for gaming. I am not like that, man, but this was really bad. And again, you just, in a game this short, you cannot have sections like this.
Bro, I just got to say, shout out. I never heard that term in my life. Snoozer time gaming. I've never heard that term used, and I don't know why. It just caught me really off guard. Like, this is like snoozer time gaming, bro. That has to be. Did he coin that term? Is that a real term? Torchgate. Oh man, I was really interested though to get to this part because I've seen. Well, I mean, Isaac Adrian definitely let me know how he felt about chapter 3, but yeah, people seem to be really complaining about this chapter, and I was curious to know what it is. And apparently, it's a like an hour long section. Like, there's an hour of this game where you walk through a cave and you light torches, and that's it. Yeah, that's what you do for an hour. Okay. Oh my god, dude. My expectations for this couldn't have been more fucked up. I'll be honest, man. Like, I was so off the mark with what I expected. Shit. When will I learn, bro? When am I gonna learn? We have Anime for Entertainment re-upping their membership, rejoining the MBG army, and bringing us up to 53 members on the day. Anime for Entertainment, shout out to you for doing that, my friend. Thank you for rejoining the MBG army. I hope you're enjoying this. All right, let's hold on. Isaac Adrian says, "Told you, LMAO." You did, Isaac. You did warn me, bro. You did warn me. All right, well, let's hear the rest of. No, boss. Hold on. He's trying to cause chaos here. I know it's your stream, boss. I know it's your stream, but you can't destroy my setup, okay? Our setup. Sorry, our setup. You can't destroy our setup. All right, let's keep this going.
There's moments, games that are much longer need these types of moments to be able to breathe. Like, okay, I need this downtime to solve some puzzles because most of the time I'm fighting. But most of the time in Hellblade 2, you're just wandering and solving puzzles. And the puzzles aren't really good or compelling or convey the game's themes well enough. They just feel like filler in an already short game. What it led to is me imagining, okay, what if I plucked all of these moments out? By the way, only one of these puzzles I ever got stuck on. But what if I just plucked all of these out? This game's runtime would be cut possibly in half. And I think that's why they exist. They don't exist to serve the game in any meaningful way, just to extend a runtime of an already tragically short video game, which we already knew short was going to be the thing going in. And that was fine with me. It's just that how you use that runtime is everything. And Hellblade 2 does not use its runtime well. This is a bigger shame because the combat in the game, which I have saved for last to talk about, may be mechanically leaner than its previous entry, but I enjoyed the encounters way more. The seemingly endless string of enemies. You finish one and then another steps in, and the way they step in, maybe killing someone else and then squaring up with you. It's seamless. It's beautiful. It's awesome. You combine that with the ramping music, the intensity of barely surviving. No UI. You don't know how much health you have. Some enemies hit harder than others. It's so wonderful. But at the same time, you wonder where the enemy variety is. I mean, this is the same company that made DMC Devil May Cry. I know people hate that game, but I love the combat in it. I get this is a story game, but I think it's inexcusable that the combat has evolved so little in so many years. You have a light attack, a heavy attack, a dodge button, a parry/block button, and you can use your mirror to basically mash through annoying enemies at times, or enemies that you just need to quickly get rid of because you're low on health. Still, I can't lie, like, even with less combat mechanics, I really enjoyed the combat in Hellblade 2 because it was about the intensity. You could feel how you were barely hanging on at certain points, and that made it great. I think with some enemy variety in there and a couple of extra moves, I'm talking like maybe one or two just to target these enemies, we would have something totally different here. But the fact that this combat is used so infrequently does the game a huge disservice. Not because my little action brain needs more stimulation, it's because the combat can be really good. And the moments it shows up, it does enhance what's happening because it feels like it's in synchronization with the story, unlike the puzzles. Unlike the extremely long walking sections, the combat serves a strong purpose in the story. Unfortunately, you can't say the same about the big moments in the game, where I guess you could call them Hellblade 2's boss fights. You really don't fight anything bigger than a singular human. The game's biggest moments are punctuated by walking/running segments. It's, again, a shame because there are bright spots, as I've hoped I've shined a light on, but I know it's mostly been critical, and it's because, unfortunately, as I said in the title, Hellblade 2 left me pretty disappointed. I am really sad to say that because, look, guilty as charged, put a lot of belief into Ninja Theory here. I made the Naughty Dog comparisons. I will own that one every day of the week, but I was completely wrong, clearly, because while this team is a bunch of perfectionists, as I accurately said, I think they were perfectionists in the wrong areas, ultimately leaving a impact factor behind, which I know is goal 1 of Hellblade, and they failed on that front, but goal 2 for Hellblade being fun, they missed that mark too. I don't know what the reception publicly is going to be for this game. I expect something polarizing based on my experience. I think some people are really going to love Hellblade 2. I won't lie to you, I can't wrap my head around why, but it's definitely got that feel to it, where for some people, this game will just scratch that itch. And if it does, if what I've described sounds like music to your ears, go ahead and try it out. I would still want people to support Hellblade 2. I loved the first game a ton. I love things from Ninja Theory in the past, but what they've done here with Hellblade 2, I'm not going to depict to you as this tragedy. I know that the emotions are heightened right now by many people watching this video because people want Xbox to get a big win, and they need a big win, and this game feels like it had to be it, and I understand all that, but for me, just pulling myself out of that moment, just looking at the game individually, it just doesn't deliver on enough areas that I personally want, and I was left feeling kind of shortchanged with Hellblade 2. Is it still worth like a Game Pass download, you may be wondering? Yeah, I think, again, this is a good weekend game if you want to go ahead and download on Game Pass, but when it comes to the $50 price tag, I'm sorry, just can't say you want to buy this one at full price. When it goes down in price, or if you want to subscribe to Game Pass for it for a month, sure, go ahead. I don't know if that'll help out the studio, as we've already learned here with what's going on with Xbox. But
so what he's about to touch on, I see Stephen Leon in the chat saying, man, it feels like we're seeing the next shutdown, and Microsoft keeps their tech. You know, I saw this yesterday. I saw that Ninja Theory put out a long post on X/Twitter, and the way the post looked, the way it was framed, it very much looked similar to, you know, the type of posts that studios make when they're announcing or closing down or something. And that's what a lot of people jump towards. And I saw on the Gaming Leaks Rumor subreddit that apparently, I have to check who it was again, but somebody in the industry apparently confirmed that, like, no, Ninja Theory's safe. Their next game was greenlit, and apparently their next game is going to be Hellblade 3. That's from a source. You know, that's from what people are saying internally. But to me, everything that's happening right now is... And I love it. I love people like, oh, all you do is talk about Xbox. Like, dude, do you not fucking see what's happening with Xbox? Like, listen, don't get me wrong. I want Sony to do more. Like, I'm fucking dying for Sony to announce a showcase, and I will continue to talk about that. And I will continue to talk about what I want Sony to do. But do you not see what's happening with Xbox? How this entire year, it went from mass rumors that they're like on fire internally and everything's going over, and everybody exploded. They had to address those rumors. They made claims that some people hung on to that turned out to be not true in just a couple of weeks and in like 2 months. They then go on to, okay, well, we got to close down some Bethesda studios, including Tango Gameworks. And everybody's like, what the fuck, dude? And they're saying we got to focus on bigger games. Now, then right after that, oh, are they putting Call of Duty in Game Pass or not? What's going on there? It turns out they are, okay. Oh, look, Hellblade 2's coming out. And then Hellblade 2's coming out, but everybody's talking about how long is this game? How much substance is there? You know, is this going to be worth the wait? And then it just leads to people now speculating like, oh shit, is this studio going to shut down if this game's not a fucking banger, you know, 9.5 out of 10 game across the board? How can you not fucking see what's wrong with Xbox, dude? I'm not here to say Sony's perfect and Sony doesn't have their own fucking problems, but you can't see how like this company is a fucking walking disaster in the gaming industry. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. You got to be fucking kidding me that there are people who still are out here trying to put on some kind of good fight. Like, man, what are you talking? Xbox is great. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about, bro? How the fuck can you have any faith in this shit? I'm not even sitting here saying that Hellblade 2 is a fucking dumpster fire. I mean, look, it seems fine. It does. But it is just insanity to me that it's like, guys, Microsoft didn't release anything for like 5 months. Almost. I mean, we're in the second half of May, like almost half a year. Again. What did Microsoft put something out earlier this year that I'm forgetting? These people want to fucking constantly argue on the internet. And they'll say, oh, Sony? What's wrong with Sony? What's wrong with Sony? Like, bro, Sony's put out like 4 or 5 fucking games this year, bro. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Oh, yeah, right. They put out Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush on PlayStation. Dude, if this is the shit Sony was doing, I'd be losing my fucking mind. If I sat here waiting for 7 fucking years for a first-party, single-player narrative-driven game from Sony, and this is what they dropped, I'd fucking lose it on them, dude. I would. I'd fucking snap. These people are insane. These people are insane, man. Like, this is why. This right here is why I can't quite understand how there still seems to be this constant, like, faith and, like, yeah, it's not so bad, or it's pretty good. Like, there's nothing to defend. There's literally nothing to defend. This studio grew by 4 times. I like, let that fucking sink in. This studio grew times 4 since Microsoft acquired them, and they produce what a lot of people are saying is a worse game, and at best, pretty much the same game. Are you shitting me? Microsoft does not know how to fucking make good video games, and if they ever did, they forgot. This is why they now buy companies to make good games for them. Let's finish it.
But for you as the consumer, that's not really your concern at the end of the day. You're here to know if a game's worth your dollar, and I would say a Game Pass subscription will do. I'm thinking of like Phantom Menace. Game Pass subscription will do. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts down below. I'm sure it'll be pretty. And with that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay out.
My bad. I thought that there was more left for the video. That was my bad. But look, man, it's hard not to rant because it's like this should have been the fucking home run. If this can't be the home run, then I hope everybody knows. You guys know what Microsoft's home run is, right? You guys want me to react to Yanez video next? Microsoft's home run is Call of Duty. That's their home run every year now. Doesn't fucking matter what else they do. Maybe Gears of War 6 could be big. Maybe 4 would still be good. But from now on, Microsoft's home run is Call of Duty. That's why they bought them. Because they know they can't rely on these studios and their own management to fucking get it together and actually learn what it means to make the type of games that are going to make the type of fucking splash that are going to get you on the map, man, and get you back in the fucking game. It's insane. I'm shocked. I'm like shocked, but not at the same time. It's just this constant cycle of like, all right, surely they got it this time. It's like, oh, wow, they don't. Wow, how did they not have it this time? How do they not have it? Yeah, I know. I'm used to Xbox fumbling. It's annoying, man. It's just annoying. It's like, come on. This game should be like, this should not be, Mr. Matty Plays review should not be what anybody's saying, let alone like a respected reviewer. Come on. Not saying because he's wrong, but just because it's like, this should have been it. Shems, you're saying here Hellblade 2 80 plus Metascore, the Order 63 Metascore makes sense. Double standards. By the way, Sony should do a Bloodborne / Order 1886 crossover. Also play Animal Well. I heard that game Animal Well is actually really good. A Bloodborne Order 1886 crossover. Two things that will never happen. Shems. JD Gamer, you're saying Xbox put out Power World, the most successful game of this year. Now Hellblade is an 80 plus rated game that has set the industry visual and audio standard per Insomniac. JD Gamer, you're crazy, bro. You're crazy, bro. I'm sorry. Like, there's... Cypherpunk says, I thought review scores don't matter. I didn't bring up review scores. In fact, I only brought up a review score one time where I said I thought Hellblade would be the type of game to get like a 90 or 91 on Metacritic. But other than that, I'm not talking about review scores. Notice how I didn't go to Metacritic. Notice how I'm not talking about numbers. Notice how I'm reading reviews and listening to what people are saying. Because that, like, I'm not even saying that matters. Because even Mr. Matty Play is saying here, he's like, look, man, like, is it worth playing in Game Pass? Yeah, sure, you know? He's not saying it's a fucking tragedy of a game, like a dumpster fire train wreck. But he's saying, like, it's not better than the first one. And he's disappointed. He's disappointed in it. And after listening to his entire review and what he said was disappointing, you know, it's just like, yeah, man, I can actually very clearly see why you would be so disappointed. Here's what I don't understand. I don't understand what it is that keeps people rooting for Xbox. Like, I'm serious. Like, I just don't understand I don't understand what keeps people rooting for Xbox. Like, I mean, I don't want to say that people who root for Xbox are completely deluded, because maybe that's a little bit harsh, but it's like, dude, what the fuck is there, bro? Like, I get it. Like, oh, they had Power World. It's like, okay. Like, they had Power World, and Microsoft, listen, it's something. You're right. I will say this, JD Gamer. I said, what else did Microsoft have this year? You're right. They had Power World. Sure. But it's just like, something tells me that Microsoft signed that as a game that's just like, yeah, maybe it'll just give us a little something for Game Pass, you know, get people in. They had no idea it was going to be the next big thing, and that's fine. You know, nobody really knows. But I think it's just kind of insane to frame it as like Microsoft saw something special. Microsoft knew that Power World was going to be the thing. Cypherpunk, you're saying, didn't go this in depth on Rise of the Ronin reviews, LOLMG, keeping the wars alive. Bullshit, Cypherpunk. Dude, come on, you know that's some horse shit. That is some horse shit. Dude, I talked about Rise of the Ronin way more than this. Way more than this. I fucking checked the reviews. I read the reviews. Granted, I will admit, I don't think I was reacting live to reviews. And to be fair, I wasn't planning on doing this. Everybody told me I had to watch Mr. Matty's Play review. They were saying it was really good. But I fucking talked extensively about Rise of the Ronin and how I said, look, I can understand. I said it over and over again. Like, I can understand why some people would give Rise of the Ronin like a 7 out of 10 and be like, oh yeah, you know, it's an okay game. But from what I'm playing, the level of depth in this game, right? The level of depth, the combat, how well it flows. And I actually thought the open world was done pretty good. Like, to me, I'm enjoying it. Like, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would based off of the way people were talking about it. Maybe the same could be true for Hellblade 2. But I'm sorry, dude. Like, we're sitting here talking about a 6-hour experience where I'm hearing an individual tell me, hey, there's chapter 3 in this game where you just walk through a cave for about an hour, and it's like he literally said it put him to sleep. There ain't no way we're doing this. Like, is it like, are you saying I'm keeping the wars alive? I'm not keeping shit alive. There is no console war. There is no war. You know the only thing I'm keeping alive? The reminder that not even Xbox, that Microsoft as a video game fucking publisher sucks balls, dude. That's what I'm keeping alive because it's fucking true. It's fucking true, dude. They suck. They've always sucked. They will never not suck because they've proven they don't know how to do it. If the day comes where Microsoft doesn't suck, it's probably because they fucking bought somebody that actually knows what the fuck they're doing. This is insanity, dude. This is total insanity. Meanwhile, I just got Mr. Matty Plays' face just sitting here next to mine as I'm fucking ranting. It's true, dude. Fuck Microsoft and fuck all of them. They don't know what they're doing, bro. And I'm tired of people acting like they do know what they're doing. The only thing Microsoft has fucking done in this industry is make it worse. That's what they've done. They have not made it better. They've made it worse. Look at where they are. You think this is the company that came in and are like, you know what? We know the way forward. Shove it up your ass, Microsoft. Same with you, Phil Spencer, and your fucking lies. Like, I'm over it. Oh man, Xbox really hurt this guy. No, it's not Xbox that hurt me. It's the fucking idiots on the internet that constantly talk about how, like, that Microsoft is actually doing something competent. That's what bothers me. Not Xbox. I don't expect shit from Xbox. They're done, bro. They've been done. Their games are our games now. That's it. That's it. It's the fucking people that can't get it through their fucking heads. Like, what are you cheering on? What are you cheering on at this point? But what about Sony? What about Sony? I'm literally sitting here telling you, Sony, give me a showcase. And what I want from that showcase is show me some fucking games that look good as shit. Show me you still got the talent. You still got the skills. And if you can't do that, Sony, then fuck off. That's how I feel. How about you? Does that sound like a console war to you? No, that sounds like a person who expects good fucking games from billion-trillion-dollar companies that are out here buying shit. That's what that sounds like to me. So whatever, bro. Cyberpunk wants to go. Well, I really need to get Mr. Matty off the fucking screen, though. This poor man got pulled into this. Hold on. Dude, it almost looks like I'm yelling at Mr. Matty Plays. Holy shit. This is amazing. This is amazing.